Hey English 112, Miss Brewer here for your week 12 video. So we're in April 8th through the 14th. This is advising week. What does that mean? It means you should be meeting with your advisor and figuring out your classes for early registration so that you can get registered in the classes that you need and want for the summer and fall if you choose to do summer. So definitely make sure you've gotten in touch with your advisors and they will help you so that you can take advantage of early registration and get the classes that you want and you need. Okay, so I'm going to go over where we are with the course because you guys are almost done, okay? So your literature review that you wrote and hopefully turned in your final draft to me for Sunday. Your literature review was on the social issue that you chose from Othello. So basically you guys have written a couple of things here. You've written a comparative analysis essay, right? That was an MLA formatted essay on the play Othello, comparing the play to a film version of it and highlighting, you know, one of the topics that stood out to you. So that was the first assignment. The second thing that you've done now is you've taken that further and you've chosen a social issue from Othello that's present today, and you just did some research on that social issue and wrote a literature review on that, right? And an annotated bibliography. So you wrote an annotated bibliography, which is just finding the sources and annotating what they're about. And then you wrote a literature review where you actually read the sources, looked for things that were in common, and reviewed the literature on your social issue, right? So if I chose gender inequality, I was reviewing the literature on gender inequality for my literature review. Now, we're going to take it one step further. This is the last project that you have for the class. And we're going to turn it into a business type of presentation. So this week you have a lesson on business writing, okay? Business writing basics. And you have information about your final project, which isn't a paper. You're welcome. It's a PowerPoint presentation because that's what you would do in a business situation. You would do a presentation. You wouldn't write a full paper. So we're going to get into the business portion of the class, which a lot of people prefer because the writing style is not as flowery. It's not as academic, okay? It's a little more informal. So people get to relax a little bit. Don't relax too much because you still have to research and stuff like that. But and you get to do a presentation, so it's a little bit less formal, I suppose. So let's talk a little bit about what that means. So when you open up your lesson for business writing basics, just read through some of these things, guys, and make sure that you click on each hyperlink so you understand. Tone, being concise, that is a key in business writing. In your PowerPoint, you should not have paragraphs. You should follow the rule of 7, which I'm going to talk about in a little bit, but it should be very concise. It should not be wordy, and certain phrases that you're going to use. And so make sure you see what ABC format is. Look over business writing style. This is a lesson for you to go through. Just understand the difference between a memo, a letter, and an email. Okay, so you'll need to know that for your final exam. You'll need to know what ABC format is. Okay, so when we write for business writing, an abstract is not quite the same as, it's kind of like an abstract for APA, but it's much less formal, okay? It's essentially the purpose of writing it, okay? Why are you writing this thing? And then the body kind of fleshes out while you're writing it, and then you conclude. Watch the video here about how to write a business letter. You need to know this information, especially that ABC format for your final exam. So know that for business writing. You'll need to understand what is a memo, what is a letter, what is an email, what is ABC format for business writing, okay? I'm going back to the week and skipping the TED Talk because you're going to save that for after the business writing here. I'm moving that now, actually. Okay. So the next thing I want you to look at is business writing PowerPoint assignment details. This is your final assignment for the class. You are going to be creating a presentation for the class about a social justice program. Okay, so you're essentially teaching us about a program, okay, some sort of a program that relates to the topic you selected for your literature review, annotated bibliography, okay? I have a whole list of them for you to choose from, but here's the thing. You don't want to double up with other people's choices. So that's where it gets a little tricky, all right? So I'm providing a list of social justice organizations. You don't have to choose from this list, but it is extensive, so it should help you to find an organization to learn about and create a presentation on, okay? You have to submit your choice and the reason that you're choosing it, and then I will approve you, okay? You are essentially teaching us what is the purpose of this organization, why is it important, what does it do, all right? And you're doing this in a PowerPoint presentation that is business style, okay? Concise, to the point, informative, still research-based, okay? You will have to link the social justice program with your social justice topic and the thing that you pointed out from Othello. So this is where it all comes together. We saw racism in Othello. I decided to look into racial inequality. Here's what I found. This is a social justice organization that I found that deals with that. Okay, that's how everything's connected. Your basic information shows you that your slideshow must be researched. You'll include background information on your social issue. That comes from your literature review, from the sources you got from your literature review. You're just teaching us a little bit about the history. It's not a lot. It's an overview, okay? Other than those articles, you're most likely going to use the organization's webpage for the rest of the information for your presentation. You are required at least 2 sources for this project, meaning the organization's webpage and another. Most likely you'll have more than 2 because you'll probably include some information from the articles that you had, okay? You're going to do 2 different things. Let me change that. Okay, and then you're going to use APA format. This is the key. You have to cite in text, meaning when you find information on your topic for the background and things like that, the in-text citations, if you provide quotes or summaries, need to be in APA format, and your final citation slide needs to be in APA format, okay? And I'll provide you with a rubric to review so you know how you're being graded. Okay, what else? There's some research strategies here. Make sure that this is because you are now going outside of the LRC for your research. So you'll find, of course, the organization's website, but you may do some additional research on your topic. If you choose to do so, you need to make sure that it is a reputable website, okay? So reliable website information is here for you. No blogs, no wikis, no nothing like that. And make sure that you are citing it properly in APA format. All right, what else do I want to talk to you about? Okay, there's a link for social justice organizations. I'm clicking on that. I'm going to open that up in a new tab. It's extensive, all right? So you can do civil rights and choose one of these. You have 6.1 civil rights groups. And you can see there's a top where you can click at. Civil rights constituency groups, legal defense groups, immigration rights, criminal justice. So if you wrote about, racial profiling or police brutality or anything like that, you might want to look into criminal justice as well as the race thing to see what you can find. Capital punishment. I don't know if anyone wrote about murder or violence, maybe. Community organizing. Let me see. Just read the explanation and make sure that it fits, okay? There's disability rights groups, elder rights groups, children's advocacy groups that might help with some of the violence with children you guys have looked into. There's lots of feminists and women's lib groups. LGBT, I don't know if that'll tie into y'all's choices. And I don't know about family planning groups. That may not be something that you guys look into. But you're going to choose these groups and you're going to present about them, okay? So pick one. And it doesn't have to be from here. You can pick your own if you know a different one, but this gets you started on thinking. What else do I want to talk to you about? All right, and then finally, so you're working on research right now and learning about this, okay? And you guys are going to be doing a forum today. So I am a huge fan of this author. She is probably my favorite author. You guys are going to be watching The Danger of a Single Story. And it's Chimamanda Ngozi Adichie. She's written quite a few books that I've enjoyed. She's an African, a Nigerian to be specific, novelist, but she also lives part-time in America. And she talks about essentially building identities of people based on just what we know, one single story, instead of really getting to know all of the things about groups of people. So I want you guys to watch her TED Talk. I want you to take notes about things that stand out to you. You are going to be participating in a discussion forum this week on this. And it is a 50-point grade, so do it and do it well. Your initial post is worth 25 points, and it's due by Thursday. And your peer replies, you need to reply to 2 different people, and that's worth 25 points, and that's due by Sunday night. So make sure you do that, all right? So essentially you're getting 3 little check marks, okay? Or you're getting points out of that. So, actually, let me change those point values. Your initial reply will be worth 30 points, and then the 2 replies will be worth 10 points each, and then you get 50. That's much easier for math. Okay. So you're going to choose one of these initial response questions. You don't have to answer all 5. Choose one, and you're going to write 200 to 300 words in response. You need to use examples from her TED Talk, so take notes, all right? And make sure that, you're referring to her and your own personal experiences and maybe, research that you've already done, those types of things. So pick one of the 5. That's your initial response. Please indicate which number you chose. Put the question there. It doesn't count in your word count, but put the question there for your initial reply, and then respond to one another. All right, your responses should be a minimum of 150 words. So make sure that you pay attention to that. So you are submitting 2 things to me this week. That's it. You're doing the journal, where you're submitting your social organization choice, and you are doing your discussion forum, okay? You should also start researching. Once you're approved, you should start researching, okay, your social organization choice. Next week, you will spend your time mostly doing your research and working on your PowerPoint. And your PowerPoint will be due on April 21st. So make sure you get that turned in on time. And we'll talk about that more next week. If you guys have questions, just email me and touch base. I'm going to be doing some quick fixing in here. I'm super excited about this portion of the course. This is something that I spent a lot of time on creating, and I hope you guys do enjoy doing the research and the presentation for this, because it's a little bit more different. We're not reading Shakespeare anymore. Hopefully you're researching something you care about, so you can find an organization that you want to teach us all about. Questions, email me. Make sure you're getting your stuff in. We're almost done, and I will be checking my email regularly and getting your rough draft grades in and your final draft grades in for your literature reviews sometime within the next week or so. Have a great week.